All right, and welcome everybody to the Dad Hat Chronicle Sports Show. There's only a trio of us tonight. One of us decided that he was going to spend some time, watching some play that no one knows about. I guess Hamilton or something like that. I can't remember. All right. Well, my name is Ed Rivera, also known as the Dad Hat. I am your humble host. And with me, I got my two co-hosts tonight, Mr. Mayor and the influencer. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Doing good.
I'm doing well.
Look at you guys with your wonderful.
No joking around tonight.
I know. Straight to the point, all right? There's no dad jokes here tonight, okay, guys? This is a serious sports show. Come on now. All right. So we'll start with you, Mr. Mayor. What are we wearing? What are we drinking, my friend?
Okay, so I'm wearing my Timbers Vacas shirt that came from Sports Ball today.
Yeah.
And figured I'd go ahead and throw on the hat. So I'm full on Wichita tonight.
Nice.
And, also rocking some orange Gatorade Zero tonight because I'm under the weather. I tested positive for flu B. I didn't have a good enough grade to make the A, so got the flu B tonight.
I thought we weren't doing jokes tonight.
I know, right? We weren't doing jokes, and there he goes. At least, it's a dad, right? So
that's right. So so this is my flu game tonight. So I'm going Michael Jordan flu game tonight.
Okay. All right. So you got your Tumbavacas, you got Gatorade Zero, because obviously our good friend Patrick Larson is not here with us tonight. He did say he was going to be off. He did tell us last week he was going to be off because he's going to go see a play, Hamilton. Good for him. I haven't seen it. I heard it's really good. I really do want to go see it. But just not on the night that we have our show. I'm just saying.
Priorities.
I think he probably should be riding the bench next week because of this. I'm just wanted to put that out there just because of that. He couldn't do it on a Wednesday. Couldn't do it on a Wednesday or on a weekend, just like every normal couple do. All right. And then also with me, Eric Proffitt, Mr. Influencer himself. How are you doing today, my friend? What are we wearing? What are we drinking?
I'm doing well. So I asked the Prospector, I said, are you watching Hamilton in New York? I mean, that would make more sense if you were in New York watching it. Or I asked, are you watching Billy Hamilton or Josh Hamilton? And he never responded to me. So today, speaking of New York, I got the Queens Kings.
Oh, that's a beautiful hat.
The one-year wonder from, I believe, Todd Radom did that prior to them becoming the Brooklyn Cyclones. And then, of course, my brother and I did a 1.5 mile run this evening. So I got my Blue Raspberry Prime today.
Nice. Blue raspberry. I like blue raspberry when it comes to any drinks or anything like that, or PCAs or anything like that. Those are the ones, I usually go for that. So,
yep.
All right. And then obviously my name, like I said, my name is Ed Rivera at the Dad Hat. I am wearing my Winston-Salem Dad Hat 920, New Era 920. Look at that thing. That thing is beautiful. We were just talking off air, me and Donnie, saying that, listen, it's a beautiful cap, right? And there's something about black and white, right? Black and white caps is just something. So it's just something good, right? Okay, Jed. All right, Hamilton is a must-see. Apparently, it's a must-see. And then I'm drinking Red Oak. Gotta love it. I have one of my mango cart left. I have not gone to go get some, so I have to wait. Eric, but mango cart is.
Are you going to stock your house when we come in May with mango cart or Kona?
Do you want me to stock it with either one or both? I mean, obviously.
Let's not discriminate. Let's just go both.
Let's go. Okay, sounds good. All right, cool. Thanks. Let's just spend my money. And then Donnie, I told the wife that you wanted to talk beer with her because you two have pretty much similar taste when it comes to beer.
Okay.
The darker beers and all that. So she's like, let's go. And then, I told her that Eric, it's more like me. We stick with, this is as dark as we're going to go when it comes to a beer. Red Oak. I don't like too many dark beers. It's just not my style.
I'll bring a good selection with me as well. I'll bring some local stuff for her and any of the others that want to try some.
Sounds good to me. I like it. All right, gentlemen, listen, let's get going here. The first thing I want to talk about, I'll talk about Major League Baseball. Yes, last week, right? We were talking about how, I was giving some props to the commissioner of baseball, right? I was like, hey, he's done some good things and everything, right? Why did I even open my mouth? Compliment. Because literally the very next day, what did he say? Well, there's another Bay team. Let's not forget there's a Bay team in California. I'm like, bro, you literally are just putting the whole Oakland A's fan base.
Yeah, I loved all the stuff online too from a lot of other shows that were like, that's like telling White Sox fans that the White Sox are moving, and now you got to pull for you can still pull for the Cubs. Like, really? Or the Mets and Yankees? I mean, come on, dude.
Like, you never say that ever.
No.
You know what I mean? So I was like, no, you don't do that. Like, I mean, that's just bad look on a career. We're talking, he should probably leave like right now. He should not be waiting to 2029. Let's just go ahead and do it now, right? Let's just take care of this. Just go ahead and retire. Get somebody else. At least we'll give him the benefit of the doubt early on, right? And see how he does. Because my God, he's just not good. Like, I take everything good I said about him. I take it back.
Yeah, he's horrible.
You should have known that, though. As soon as you said something like that
I did.
Something else was going to come out. You should have known that. You know him. I mean, not obviously personally, but you know how he is.
Yeah, and Phil on Instagram Live, he says, like, I jinxed it. I did, my friend. I did. I apologize. I'm sorry. It's true. Zach Pisa says, need a commissioner that actually likes baseball and promotes its growth and not make it it's a regional sport.
Right.
Still to this day, that's the one thing that just annoys me to no end, right? It's a regional sport. Really? Is it really?
Right. So are you trying to grow it regionally or not? Because you're not growing it regionally by your blackouts. So, I mean, come on. You can't call it regional and then not have games that you can view in that region.
100%. 100%, my friend. 100%. Eric, what were you going to say, my friend?
I mean, he's put it perfectly, and so does Zach. So I was just gonna comment basically same thing both of them were saying.
Yeah,
very true. And then to top things off, today came out that the apparently Major League Baseball has two front runners for two cities that that they're thinking about for expansion. I agree with one of them. I'll say that I'll agree with one of them, which is Nashville, right?
Yeah,
I think Nashville, it's a viable source. Now, I want to know, like we've all been talking about, what would happen to the Nashville Sounds,
right,
afterwards, right?
Well, I mean, I think like we've spoken about before, there still should be a place. There could be a place for them there, just like other major league cities that have, AAA teams, AA teams nearby, things like that. They might can coexist still.
Yes, I agree. I agree, right? Because I've been pushing for Raleigh to have a team here, but Durham and then Raleigh are two totally different, areas of, so they can still coexist. But this one is like literally Nashville, like both of them are like, that's going to be a little bit difficult. But I think it'll survive, right? Because then we could talk about that's the home team for that specific ballpark, whatever.
Right.
And the other one, this one is the one that I'm a little baffled about. Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, I don't see the population being big enough or supportive enough for a major league level.
Mm-hmm. Portland, maybe. I mean, if you want to do like a East Coast, West Coast, Salt Lake City just doesn't mean like as far as the growth is concerned, I don't see that one. And Zach is correct, right? Nashville Sounds would move to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They've already talked about building a stadium there. Yeah, again, it's just you've always known the Sounds as the Nashville Sounds. So oh,
bro, go to Hamilton.
What? Look at this dude right here. Look at these Kings. What
is
are you
it
doing?
Intermission?
I was gonna say it must be intermission.
It has to be intermission.
Has to be intermission.
Look at these Kings, like the Queen's Kings. Is that what you're saying, Patrick?
He's already bringing a dad joke, and he's not even here. How is that even possible, guys? So let's talk about it. I want to hear from you guys also in the chat. I'll keep an eye also on the Instagram one, but I want to get you guys' thoughts. Like, if you guys were talking about like an expansion team, who would you guys like to see as an expansion city? I know we've talked about this before, but now that it is getting a little bit real, more concrete, even though Oakland is really screwing the pooch on this one.
Yeah. I mean, I still think Raleigh makes sense in my opinion. I mean, up the East Coast, you got everything. I mean, from between Atlanta, Tampa, then you're all the way up to Baltimore, Washington. There's nothing in between. Now, that being said, there's so many minor league teams in North Carolina, it makes it tough as well. So I can see where that's a possible issue. But Major League Baseball, they're gonna do something that's not what the fans want. They're gonna just pick what they want to do.
I can't hear what you guys are saying.
Sorry,
hey, boom! I'm gonna go with Ryan right here. All you guys are James, just rally on deck. Boom! Listen, I'm in this one. All right. I just don't see it. I get what Zach is saying, right? Salt Lake City, the Utah Jazz, Salt Lake, Real Salt Lake, but I just again. I think Major League Baseball is a very precarious situation right now in which you want to grow, but like you want to make sure that you're doing this strategically in which for it to grow correctly. You don't want to be like, oh, we're going to go to Salt Lake, and then a couple of years later, they're moving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Raleigh and Nashville both add to the whole Southeast thing because outside of, right now, without those there, you've got Atlanta, you've got Tampa and Miami in Florida. And then from there, like I said, you've got Baltimore and Washington, all that up in there. And everything just kind of circumvents the whole Southeast over to Kansas City and St. Louis and down to Texas. So to kind of drop a Nashville and a Raleigh in there kind of balances out things, in my opinion, for a little bit more teams in the Southeast. And, everything was always west. I mean, go west. Now we need to come back east a little bit and southeast.
I'm with you 100%. It's funny because I really want to make sure that you guys go on MLBRaleigh.com. These guys do a great job of putting a lot of the data, current data available for you guys as to why Raleigh should be a good area, right? Like, I mean, right now, as far as population in line established markets, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati Reds, Kansas City Royals, the 919 Raleigh, and then Cleveland, right? So, so I would definitely make sure that you guys take a look. They have a lot of good articles regarding what they are doing, as far as trying to promote to bring baseball here to the Carolinas. So, I highly recommend you guys take a look at that. Let's see. Salt Lake City already has land, private funding as for a stadium, local government support. Nashville, Raleigh, Portland don't have that. Yes and no. Okay. And again, I'll sit to the Raleigh. We have a lot of right now. The owner of the Carolina Hurricanes is in line to really work with trying to bring a team here. So they are working on that, right? And then Phil, nobody tells Texas. Donnie called them the Southeast.
No, I didn't call Texas the Southeast. I said everything kind of circumvents the Southeast over to Texas.
Yeah. So.
So I mean, you don't, like New Orleans or Birmingham. Nashville, Raleigh. Those are all, to me, comparable cities that could be a host for a major league team. But I think Raleigh and Nashville are the best. But I don't see why you couldn't have had a major league team in New Orleans, or you couldn't have one in Birmingham.
It's interesting.
It's just an area that just is ripe for a couple of new teams.
Eric, you're saying a lot, so I want to hear from you.
It's hard for me to jump in with Donnie, going all.
Oh, so now we're moving Donnie to that area where Patrick was last week.
He had to take over since Patrick's not here. So, the only thing I'm thinking with, obviously Nashville should be more than likely going to get one. we have always talked about, and Donnie was talking about kind of the geographical and all that going on, but with how we always talk about, there's not a whole lot kind of to the west of Denver with the Colorado Rockies, until you get in like California, Seattle. So I would think maybe just to kind of go out that way, I guess I could see probably why they might do Salt Lake City that way, just because there's not a whole lot right in that area. Obviously, you have the California teams and you have the Seattle Mariners, but other than that, besides the Rockies, there's nothing really, Kansas City and then East, there's obviously all that, but I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of maybe why they made doing it there, other than, possibly Portland. I could see because they have NBA, but then they just have the Pickles and that's it. So they wouldn't have like any baseball to compete with. And it's not necessarily competing with them, but obviously with like the A's going to Las Vegas, you got the Aviators. And then, as you're talking about the Nashville Sounds, what's that going to do? But with like the St. Paul Saints, they're right there next to the Minnesota Twins. So it's not necessarily something that they wouldn't have to get rid of them. They could just be, their AAA potentially, depending on, alignment or realignment.
Yeah. And like, again, I'm not trying to discredit the West Coast, right? Because they, and listen, they need there's a lot of plenty of fans out there that love baseball just like we do here. It's just as hard, right? Because if we're talking about, again, growing the sport, I get what they're doing it, but like, you're leaving a lot of areas in which there has not been a presence, right? Like you were talking about the Nashville's down in the South, the Louisiana, here in North Carolina. North Carolina has been, you guys know me. It's like I've been one of the biggest proponents for a team here in North Carolina, even if it's in Charlotte. I wanted to be here in Raleigh, but even if it's in Charlotte, right? I'm having a hard time comparing Salt Lake to Raleigh.
What's that do to your fandom of the Guardians then if you have a new team that's nearby? Do you like both, or do you just become a new Raleigh,
like
whatever?
I would definitely support Raleigh team no
Right.
matter what. I would definitely buy their gear and support them no matter what. I would love to have a team so I can go to a major league game. You know what I mean? Being here, I think that's what's missing. They're really missing that major sport. Because down in Charlotte they have the NFL, the NBA, right? So that's already, they're not going anywhere after that. They also have MLS down in Charlotte. So Charlotte is already kind of like saturated with major sports. So Raleigh would be, as far as a major sport, will be here. So baseball here, hockey here, right? So I think it's missing that. It'll be cool. I will support both teams, though. I will support both teams. Although the Dolans are not making it easy, man. They are not making it easy on me to be a fan of the Guardians.
Well, sorry, Donnie, I was just going to say, so we talked offline that we're converting Donnie away from the Yankees. So if we can work on you as well, Ed, if you need to get rid of the Guardians.
Before Oakland, right? Let's take Oakland for a second out of the conversation, and then we'll bring it back, right? I'm talking about bad owners. Cleveland was right there, right? Because they were never really investing in that team. And then all of a sudden, Oakland's like, hold my beer. I got the championship for the worst owner in the league. You know what I mean? Oakland comes in, it's just kills everything. Like, I mean, this is just bad. And then for the commissioner to really come out and say, it's like, like I said, going back to the comment, hey, there's another Bay Area team that you guys can root for. I'm like, God, talk about just disconnect from fans, man.
Yeah, that's like saying, well, there's another team in Ohio. If you get rid of one of your teams, like, well, there's another team in Ohio. Go pull for them now.
Yeah, good luck.
It's harder, Eric, for me to walk away from 27 championships than it will be for Ed to walk away from how many?
Shots?
Fired. Wow, 1954 was the last one. Okay, don't be a jerk.
Have you kicked him off of this live yet?
No.
Hey.
Wow.
Let me ask you this, guys. Why do they have to go two? It's like always two expansion teams. And then we get into this argument of these two cities versus these 4 or 5. Why don't they do 4 teams?
The last time they did 2 was Tampa.
Yeah.
But if you have 34, how do you break that? Because like with the NFL, you have 8 divisions with 4 teams with the 32. So how do you do that with 34 then?
That's hard.
Well, I mean, look how it is now. I mean, I guess it's even with fives, but still, I mean, I don't know. Adding 2 teams is always weird to me. It's like it doesn't feel like it's enough.
Yeah, but they're at that point though with
Yeah.
being just at 30 right now. If it was maybe 28 or something, then I could see.
Yeah.
But yeah, right there with their 30 currently, I don't know. It just would seem to make the divisions easier if they did 8 with 4 in each, like the NFL does.
I'm with you there. I'm with Eric on this one. Like if it was 28, I see 4 teams, expansion teams, 100%. But we are at 30. I don't think they're gonna do more than that. And then after that, that becomes a little bit trickier. It's like now you really are just scrounging to look for areas to really take advantage of, putting a major league team. That's when it will get interesting, which I don't think they will.
If it's a regional sport, then go into more regions. I mean, so
there you go, Ryan.
There you go, Ryan. Remember, adding 2 MLB teams at 8 MILB teams.
Yeah, that's true.
Ryan's like, let's do that so I can create more designs and logos.
I'm with that all day. Are you kidding me? Hell yeah.
So maybe he wants to do 4 teams like Donnie said. That way we can have double that.
Have 16 MILBs. Yeah.
16 MILB teams. Oh my God. That would
make Ryan some money.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
do it.
we all need like 4 or 5 MILB teams within an hour's drive, no matter where you're at.
Yep.
Just keep dropping them in, man.
Collegiate and single A, double A, triple A, I'm all for that. Independent, bring some of those independent teams over to over the fold. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Right. That would be very interesting to see. Chris, right now we're going. So let's talk about that, right? What do you guys think? It's like, all right, so we're adding 2 teams. Where are we going to get these minor league teams? Are we going to go ahead and grab some of those old ones that that didn't make the cut the first time? Hey, you guys are welcome back to the fold.
How would those teams? How would those cities? How would those fans feel though if they're like, "Oh, you can come back now"?
Yeah, right. No way they would have 8 MLBs that call the level of first, right? Zach, when they announce the expansion, I'm interested to see where they put their minor league affiliates and convince independent teams to join the affiliated ranks. So I want to hear from the chat, right? Let me know in the chat. All right, so they're adding 2 teams. We already know 2 expansion teams are coming. When? We don't know yet. However, that means that we are going to be adding, like Ryan said, and I'll put the comment back up, right? That is 8 minor league teams that are going to be coming into the fold. Where are we going to find these teams? Who's going to be willing to go ahead and say, "Hey, we'll come back," right? Because you got the Appy League. The Appy League is surviving just fine, no issues.
Right. Or like Lynn said, did they cut a level and take some of the lower level teams and change those cities to a different level?
Can't. They got their 10-year.
Yeah. Well, contracts are made to be broken,
especially with Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Why would you cut that though?
I don't think they do, but I think
not only that, the players union, now that they're unionized.
Yeah. I mean, I would have thought in the past year or so that they were going towards maybe consolidating the A level, but I don't know. I don't think they will at this point.
No. Nashville will for sure add Lexington as a double A affiliate. Could be.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that here in a minute because I really want to talk about these new brandings that just came out. That's love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, where would you put them? Like I mean, if you really take a look at the map now, right? Where are we going to go with expansion teams? Bring the Florida State League back. Like some of those teams.
Well, then I mean, if you have the team in Raleigh. What does that do for some of the independent and minor league teams that are in North Carolina? Do they flip to, like, for instance, like the High Point Rockers or somebody like that? Does High Point become an affiliate city rather than an independent city, or does one of these others become an affiliate city like Burlington? Do they go back to an affiliate city or whatever?
I'll be honest with you. I think Burlington is doing just fine. Being
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they're not doing fine. I just think that I'm just curious as to who they would approach in the area
Mhm.
to try and flip from a city to an affiliated city, or would they even worry about them being in North Carolina? I mean, I would think they would try to do some, but they're not concerned too much with them being close to the home team in too many places. I mean, heck, the Royals low A's here, so
I don't know. That's interesting.
Yep.
We'll see what happens, right? Here's my question. Because he's saying he wants to leave by 2029. Is that going to be his legacy, adding the expansion team?
That's what I was going to ask you, if you thought he was going to try to bring it in before he leaves. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, what is it, 5 years? Because, I did see that article or whatever today saying those were the two ones they were looking at, but I don't know. I didn't read too much into it if they said specifically what time frame they're looking at. I don't think they said that, did they?
I think I saw somewhere there was a time frame where it was like 2028.
So he would then get it in before he leaves.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, look what I did. I brought in two
Look
more.
at this, guys. World Baseball Classic, and and the expansion, relocation of major league, of some of the major league teams.
I mean, I could see it being something that he would want to go out on as, expansion and TV deals. Then he'll be set. Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's his thing. That would be his thing that he takes with him.
Right, between the rule changes, the World Baseball Classic, and now 2 expansion teams and a new TV deal.
And not to mention, they're also working on their own streaming service, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a total tool bag, let's be honest, but you got to give credit where credit is due. And I hate to do that with him, talking so many idiots, saying so many stupid things.
Yeah, you just gave him that praise, so just watch what he says tomorrow.
I know. I just say it again. I just can't wait for this week, what he's going to say. Here we go. And I'm sure I'm going to get in it on our text thread.
Oh yeah.
You did it again, Ed. You can't. I just can't. I don't want to. You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to praise him. I take it back because I don't want to jinx it.
There you go.
Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen again, man. It's going to happen again. So I don't know. All right, boys. Let's talk a little bit more baseball. Let's talk some jerseys. I know Eric wanted to talk about this one. So I'm going to leave it up to you, my friend. Tell me.
Yeah, so obviously, as everybody knows, that right now the deal with Nike and the Fanatics. So I've purchased myself some those t-shirt jerseys, the jerseys, whatever you want to call them, from Fanatics, and the quality is not good at all. You wash them a couple of times, then everything just fades. I bought a lot for my son, and it's just like can't even see the name and the number on the back anymore. So somebody said they thought that MLB or somebody would step in prior to the season and get that corrected, but I don't know. It's just the font, the print, just everything. It's not even any stitching. It looks like just screen print, something you would wear it for, if you're in the NFL and you have just that, your quarterback and you have a red jersey on, you can't be touched. It's something kind of just throw on, and
they look so cheap, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, all of the lettering from all the teams looks the same. There's no uniqueness to any of them. I mean, you used to have, different size letters, different style letters, and now everything's just the same style, same size with that same arch.
I'm with Zach on this one.
Yeah.
Majestics was legit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Better than Nike. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's what Zach's saying. I bought him an Alec Boehm. So Boehm's third baseman for the Phillies, but he played here at Wichita State, and we got to see him when he was at Wichita State. So I bought him a Phillies Alec Boehm t-shirt jersey, and it faded and went bad. So then when we're in Philly this past summer, he got a new one, and it seems to hold up a little bit better.
Like a 1980 NFL jersey ordered from the Sears Wish book.
That's a good one, Phil.
All right, Phil. I like that. Johnny Baldy coming in. The major is stronger than week-old collard greens. Look at you.
Wow. I didn't think I was that strong.
You're strong. You sound like like you got hit by a dump truck, but it's okay. We're here, man.
I'm powering through.
You're powering through. That's one we can say about Patrick, who didn't show up because he wanted to watch him play. But I'm not bitter or anything like that. They're just messing up with the foursome. Okay, but no, seriously, no. Ever since Nike, because there's been some duds with a lot of these jerseys and a lot of these designs and all that. There's nothing good that's coming from Nike right now.
No, I don't know. They it's like they try to do too much sometimes that they don't do it right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like this like how can we fancy something up that doesn't need to be, and then it just ends up messing it up.
I'm having such a hard time with this one. I don't know why, and it's just I don't get it. Lynn is saying here on the chat that some players seem to like the new jerseys now. Let's see how these fans are in a few months. It's very interesting that some of these players came out against it, and then it became national news. And all of a sudden, we got some players that are, I don't believe it. I was like, hey, we need you to go out there and say that you like these jerseys. I need you to go ahead and say it.
I think they all got a memo to not trash the jerseys.
100%. I think they did. Yeah. They were told, I need you to shut up.
Right.
Don't say a word. Okay? Do not say a word, guys. So we'll see. Again, I don't know. There's been some interesting things going on with those jerseys. All right. There's something else that our good friend here, Mr. Donnie Wise, wanted to talk about. So I'm going to let him, do this. We'll talk about some of these new alternate jerseys and all that here in a minute. But you also wanted to talk about Blake Snell.
Oh, yeah. He's still out there. And, yeah, hopefully for me, hopefully the Yankees are going to work out a deal. I keep seeing stuff like that they're kind of waiting him out. Nobody else is really getting an offer in front of him. There's several other players too that are still hanging out there, which I'm surprised haven't signed, through this week or whatever, since everything's starting up. But I don't understand what the holdup is on Snell other than the injury history. But
he's been a great pitcher though. You can get him at a discount.
Right. And I'm sure he's asking for too much or has been asking for too much.
I'm sure he has.
Lynn's probably got it right there. Scott Boras is the issue. With
Scott Boras is the issue.
Yeah. But I keep seeing him hanging out there, and I keep seeing, there's talk that the Yankees are maybe going to still work out something with him. And then like Cody, was it Cody Bellinger?
Mm-hmm.
Still hanging out there. And several others. What are y'all's thoughts on why these guys are still hanging out there? There's always somebody, but this seems like this year there's a few guys that really should have already signed by now.
I'm going to let Eric talk first.
Oh, yeah. Donnie, you're saying that about how most of them should have signed by now. But if, obviously it's not the same sport, but with football, a lot of times you'll see those guys go right into or past the start of the season. Chris Jones, he didn't play week 1 when the Chiefs played Detroit this past year.
And he just got paid.
And then they got beat by Detroit, and they're like, oh, we probably better sign this guy. So now it may not go because we're just getting into spring training. The games haven't even started yet. So majority of the guys will probably sign. But, yeah, what's that do? Obviously, they're working out and stuff. But if they're not there with their new ball clubs, if they're not going back, like I don't know if Bellinger is going to go to Chicago with the Cubs or, how that's going to work out. What do what do they do? Because I guess it's the game of baseball is different or easier in terms of, trying to go to the NFL when you had, guys that get traded midseason and then, you have a quarterback that's taking over a brand new team and they're trying to learn the playbook and stuff. It's going to be a little bit easier, especially if like you're a pitcher, just go out there, tell your catcher what you're going to throw and throw your pitches.
Right. And I mean, it's just like we said with Snell. I mean, he was given an offer. It wasn't what he wanted. He's like, I'll wait and see. And nobody's come around and said, okay, well, we'll give you a better offer. At what point do you suck it up and say, all right, do I go with the Yankees or do I go with somebody else? I mean, it's like, do you want to play for them or do you want to play for, or is it the team that you want to play for not offering you the offer?
I'm going to piggyback on what Eric said here, right? A lot of them, I think they're just like, remember you guys a couple of years ago where Scott Boras had a lot of his free agents, and then he brought them all together to one practice facility, and they had their own spring training there to go ahead and practice while they were not there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that some of them are okay with not signing. I think they're waiting for that one occasion in which they are waiting to see about injuries. You know what I mean? They're waiting to see who gets cut, who doesn't, and then at that point they'll get signed. They'll be fresh, right? But it'll still take them a little bit of time to get acquainted with with baseball, like with the season and playing and all that. But I think that's I'm okay with some of these players not signing. Now on the Blake Snell, I think something that's hurting him is the fact that he has Scott Boras as his agent, because he thinks that he should be making this money when in reality should be making this.
Right, because his history doesn't support him being at the top with not staying healthy a lot. But when he is healthy, he's dominant, or can be. So
yeah. The smartest thing Rob Manfred has ever said was recently giving the idea of a free agent signing deadline. I don't know that he can do that, right? He has the power to implement that as a commissioner, some of these rules, because of how it was worked out in the CBA. But
right.
Like, why would the Players Association let that happen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I know these guys will sign. I just wanted to bring it up and just talk about some of these guys that are pretty big name guys that are still just hanging out there. And, every year there seems to be a couple, but this year it seems like there's 5 or 6 of them that are pretty solid, top level guys that just aren't getting a deal done.
I want to talk about a couple of your players for your Yankees, man, because there's some things that I'm noticing. The first thing is Aaron Judge saying that the toe will require constant maintenance. That doesn't sound good.
No, and I don't know if that's a sort of, you float something out there, so when you have an issue, you can say, it's already been out there.
Exactly. I already told you guys this.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's like I told you guys at the beginning of the season that I was having some issues with my toe still. So,
right.
I
mean, as far as I'm concerned with something like that, is it going to take more time to get right and be 100%? Because if it is, take the time. Don't push it in the beginning of the season and make it worse later in the season. I'd rather miss the whole first month of the season rehabbing.
You can't
to
win
get
this
it right.
division in the beginning of the season. Everybody knows that.
Right. But you can lose it.
You can lose it, but you can't win. But the Yankees,
exactly.
Listen, you know how I feel about the Yankees just because I'm being a Cleveland fan, right? But the Yankees are going to be in it no matter what.
Right. Yeah. But I think, like you said, I think it's just one of those things you kind of, it's like, oh, by the way, this thing's going to, it's going to bother me for a while. So I'm just letting you know when things aren't working, it's just the toe.
They're already working their PR, side all
plant
right
the seed.
Oh yeah, 100% plant the seed.
Yeah. Now I did see where they're talking about, which is funny. They were talking about him wanting to bat third behind Soto now, which is probably a good thing. And Aaron Boone said, "Well, he'll be good with wherever I put him. He always is." I'm like, is he?
So, is he though?
Is he though? Really? So
again, I'm gonna go back to this when we were talking about this at the end of the year. They should have fired Boone last year.
Yeah, I agree.
So that parallel matches the the Yankees or the Cowboys of the MLB. They get right there to the playoffs, and then we're the best team, and then they haven't won anything for many years, and they should have fired Mike McCarthy in Dallas, and they should have fired Aaron Boone. So they're basically one and the same.
Yeah. Good. I mean, because they went a long time before that 09. You know, they had all those in the late 90s, early 2000s, and there was a stretch. I mean, and then since 09, here we are waiting.
So 1954, waiting.
2015, waiting.
Right, we're good. Yeah, I don't know. My question to you, Donnie, is will they have all those players available to them by the end of the season? Because, hey, listen, what I noticed is another one, your boy, Giancarlo Stanton, listened to you.
He did. He's jacked, ain't he?
He's jacked
some weight.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
He looks better slimmed down. Like, I mean, that dude was just getting like Barry Bonds big.
And I hope that by being slimmed down, he's gained flexibility too, because that's where that's what he needs. Because, I mean, dude wouldn't even run balls out. It's like, come on.
He was all arms too.
Yeah, all arms. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, if he's turned over a new leaf a little bit, could be potent. I'd love to add that one more arm in there and be dominating.
Yeah. It's not Aaron Boone's fault. Brian Cashman's gives him mostly trash to work with. Yeah, but he also makes some stupid decisions, in-game decisions that, just leaves you just thinking like, yes, Brian Cashman gives him the roster, but he also puts the roster to, the lineup together every day, every game. And there's a lot to be desired, pitching when it comes in. So, he's not off the blame list on this one.
Yeah, back to your Cowboys analogy. I mean, Jerry Jones puts a lot of players on the field, but Mike McCarthy can sure screw them up too. So,
again, that's really good parallel. I really didn't think about this until Eric said that.
Thank you. It's my best work.
Congratulations. That has to be your best work on the DHC Sports Show. Congratulations. I like it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And then another. Well, this is an ex-Yankee now. Luke Voigt. You see where he signed?
No,
I missed him to that one.
He signed with the Mets.
Okay.
Well, because that's where isn't Harrison Bader there?
Yep. So the ex-Yankee Luke Voigt signed, and this is sad. He signed a minor league deal with a spring training invite.
Oh wow.
Yowza. So that's interesting. Ex-Yankee. All right. Something else I want to talk to you guys, and I think this is going to take the rest of our time here. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys know where I'm going with this, huh?
Yes.
I do not. I'm lost on where you're going with this.
Eric, you wanna take this one?
So I believe it was yesterday the two completely polar opposite comments, one from Mike Trout and one from Anthony Rendon.
Virgil, do we have to? Yes, we do. Let's.
So
I must have missed this. Go ahead.
So he doesn't, obviously Donnie doesn't read our text thread, but
apparently not.
Yeah. So
no, I saw it, but I was busy. But go ahead.
He saw it, didn't care. Got it. Cool.
Well, then today he's sending us nonstop stories. I'm like, is he not working? But anyway,
right.
That's besides the point. So, so what I said, what a lot of people were taking it as is when Rendon basically said it, that playing baseball is just a job and that his family and his faith come before that. And so everybody took it. Now, what I kind of was talking about that, Ed, you didn't think he was meaning it in that context as far as it's just a job, but everybody online took it as, he said, oh, I don't care. I'm just out there because I basically have to. It's a job or whatever. Yeah. Because everybody else is like, oh, yes, I love the game and I'm there just, for the love of the game. And it's not a job if you enjoy doing what you're doing. But the way he said it, everybody, I don't know, maybe he said it like that on purpose, or maybe people took it out of context. And then on the same, opposite side, Mike Trout basically said, I don't want to be traded. I want to stay here. and basically told the team that he wants to have somebody be brought in, one of these big free agent guys that haven't signed yet that we were just talking about, to try to help them win. But obviously they had Ohtani and couldn't do anything with it. So I don't know who they could bring in that's going to help them out any.
So here's two things that I see that there's an issue with his comments, right? With Rendon's comment, which again, I took it as, listen, there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying family comes first, faith comes second, whichever you want to put him, no one is putting one or two or one, right? Like, I mean, that's fine. I'm okay with that comment. I'm totally okay with that comment. My issue with the person that said it. And then on top of that, it makes it even, and compounded how worse it was with Mike Trout saying what he said, right? Rendon has not done anything since he signed that big contract.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's been injury prone. He's not been able to prove that you're only as worth as much as your contract says you are. Right? If someone's telling you that we're going to pay you $45 million a year, hey, I'm worth $45 million a year. No matter what you say, you paid me. That's what I'm getting paid. Right? But the problem is you didn't deliver on the skill set that you said you were going to bring to that team. That's my issue.
And what context was he saying?
He was asked.
My job.
They were talking about that, like he said, they don't have to make it even worse, though. Papelbon, did you guys see that Papelbon came in? He's like, oh, he was never that player. You know what I mean? He was like, you could tell he was never on it. You know what I mean? Rendon was only good for a few seasons with the Nets. Yeah. Anthony Rendon is poop emoji, poop emoji, poop emoji. We Angels fans want him to leave. These comments come a week after he said MLB plays too many games. Okay. Again, another issue.
Yeah.
He's not helping his cause. He's not helping his cause. Again, if you tell me Mike Trout said those comments, I'm like, cool. Yeah, you're right. There's nothing wrong with saying, that it's, baseball is a job for him, which is good, which is fine. Who also said that? Oh my God. The shortstop for the White Sox.
Tim Anderson.
Yeah.
Tim Anderson said that he's like, hey man, he doesn't love baseball. He loves football, but he's good at baseball.
Yeah.
Speaking of TA, I think isn't he one of those that hasn't signed?
I don't think he signed either. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
But I read something yesterday, I think it was, that somebody said, is that because is he declining in his, abilities? Or is he still one of those kind of electric players? I don't know, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he hasn't signed yet.
I'm looking right now. He's a free agent right now.
Yeah.
They're connecting him with the Marlins a lot though.
I knew Lynn would know that. I should have just asked her. I knew she would hop in.
TA7 unsigned. Declining, it's you could tell, I think he was not the right person after he got knocked out by Ramirez. You know what I mean? He definitely took a major decline there, when he went down with a nice little hook. He had a below average season last year. Again, 100%.
That's fine. We don't like the White Sox anyways, do we?
Nope. We do not. See, let me ask you guys. Donnie, you're a Yankees fan, right? So that you're the AL East. Would you root for any other AL East team?
I won't say that I don't root for them. I mean, not if they're playing the Yankees, but I don't know. I don't necessarily go out rooting for other teams, but I'm not going to root for the Red Sox, I can tell you that. Blue Jays, Orioles, they can be good stories at times. Don't care much for anything else.
Okay. What about you, Eric?
For me, yeah, I can't stand the Guardian, so don't like the I think if I had to choose one in the AL Central that it's okay would be the Twins, and the only reason is because unfortunately the Wichita Wind Surge is AA of the Twins, and I hate that because we're like, yeah, let's root for the guys here in AA when they get to AAA.
That's gonna be your team later.
And then we're like, okay. So luckily we've had some guys that were in the Twins organization that got traded over to the Reds. Spencer Steer and Christian Encarnacion Strand are both with the Reds now. They played here in Wichita over the last couple years. So the Twins kind of, but other than that, I don't really like. And the Tigers, who are they? They don't bother me at all. And then the White Sox, I don't really care for. So yeah, I'd say if I had to choose one, I would pick the Twins, but that's only because they're the major league, the parent club of my Wichita Wind Surge.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question, and I want you guys to tell me this, right? Because I believe your thought process changed when we all became friends. You know what I'm saying? So, like with Donnie, right? The Blue Jays. Patrick is a Blue Jays fan. With Eric, you're a Kansas City Royals fans, right? I don't hate those teams or the Yankees, right? I don't hate them. I'm not going to root for them or against them, but I don't, you know what I mean? You're not going to catch, because I went to Kansas City Royals game in, man, I had a blast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that my mindset, for me at least, my mindset changed once I became friends with you guys, right? The Twins, I never really hated the Twins. The Tigers never really bothered me. The White Sox was the one team that always bothered me no matter what. I don't know why. It always bothered me, right? 2005, all of that, but never really had any issues with that. I think in Major League Baseball, we don't necessarily root for the other teams. Like, we all have our teams, right? But when it comes to minor league baseball, like you said, you're rooting for Wichita, and they're a Twins affiliate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So we don't have any issues with rooting for a minor league team. It's just when it comes to the majors, you're like, we'll see you. Hi, I'll see you guys.
Well, I'll say this too. It's been harder now that those teams in the East have gotten better, because it was easy to kind of be like, the Orioles, I always liked Cal Ripken.
The redheaded stepchild. I got
the Blue Jays, they always had some great players that I loved watching. Rays, I don't mind the Rays. I probably pull for the Rays more so now because of what you said, because it's Anna's team.
Yep.
So I want to see them do good for her. Really, the Red Sox is the only one I'm not going to pull for in any way, shape, or form.
Well, none of us are Red Sox fans, so we're okay.
Right. Now, I want to go to Fenway and see a game.
So do I. Yeah, so do I.
But I'm not going to sit there and pull for them.
It's on my bucket list.
Yeah. But, talking about teams in the other divisions, I mean, there's not any real teams in the other divisions that I could absolutely just not root for either. I'm indifferent, I guess, to most of the others. And to Eric's point earlier, I'm pulling more for the Royals too, just because they're the Fireflies are affiliated with them. So I'm following them because I want to see these guys make it up to the level. And, they're kind of it'll be an issue maybe one day when Royals have to play the Yankees in the playoffs or something. And it's like, okay, which way do I go? But, there's a lot of guys we've come across in this community over the last few years that grew up pulling for one team. And, then they switched allegiances. I mean, Anna's dad, for one. I mean, he was a huge Tigers fan, and then he became a Rays fan. And, there's others that have been the same way. It's like you grew up rooting for one team, but then you move somewhere else. And to the point with you with Raleigh, I mean, if they have a team there, you're going to go to those games. You're going to kind of pull for them, but that doesn't mean you're not going to be a Guardians fan either, because they're still going to be that team you grew up with.
That's the team when I moved here to the U.S. That's the team that
I
learned to love.
I'll always be a Yankees fan. I grew up with the Yankees, but I was a Yankees fan because I was a Don Mattingly fan for the most part. I started pulling for the Yankees before he got there, but that's because I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And then when he got there, I kind of latched onto him as my guy, and I rode that into the 90s. So, and then we struggled through a lot of times in the 2000s where it was hard to pull for these guys some. I mean, I was never a huge Jeter fan. He was pretty good, but I didn't latch onto him as my player after Mattingly, like some others might have done, or maybe younger kids would have done. So, that's kind of the thing. And then my brothers are Giants fans, so I have a place in my heart for the San Francisco Giants as well.
I gotcha. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I got a chance to get up to Fenway last year to see the Red Sox play. Really cool ballpark. So if you get a chance, got to get up there.
I will. I'm trying. I really am. I don't know if I'm gonna make it this year, maybe next year. But this year I got some teams already that I want to visit, which it's on the list.
I'm just thinking now that we, have been doing this show, what the text thread's going to be when we're all talking during baseball season. You know how you said you don't necessarily hate our teams really just because, getting to be friends with us or whatever. But I know for me, I don't know that necessarily I would say that it's changed for me. I still don't like the Yankees or the Guardians. So sorry to spoil that for you guys.
No. I get it.
No.
Like, no. And listen,
I would expect you to give me grief.
we're all going to give each other grief. That's why we're friends. We're going to talk shit to each other. It's
Right.
as simple as that. You know what I mean? I still am pissed off at the Yankees for beating us during that playoff series and with Cleveland should have been in the World Series. Not going to talk about that anymore because it never happened and they never made it to the playoffs, the World Series either. But whatever, but I think that our mentality, our thinking on when it comes to fandom, I think it changed a little bit. Has been changed a little bit because of our friendships with each other, right? Don't get me wrong. Like, for example, Durham Bulls, right? Like you guys were saying, the Durham Bulls are the affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. You know what I mean? So I'm going to root for the Bulls, and then I want to see these players make it up to Tampa and I want to see them play. I'll put. See, thank you, Shannon. I appreciate.
Thank you.
That we got the influencer here. Can be. We're having a kumbaya moment, and Erica's like, no.
If you guys get rid of Jose Ramirez, then maybe I'll start.
That's not going to happen. They're going to get rid of everybody else except for Jose Ramirez.
Well, then I guess I'm never going to like the Guardians. Then
yeah, I would pull for the Russian national team if they played the other teams in the NL East. Go Fish. Okay, Donnie.
So speaking of the Marlins, so the Wind Surge were originally supposed to be the AAA of the Marlins, and I'm like, okay, the Marlins, they're not in a division, they're not a team that I really care for, but I would have rooted for them, and it would have been a lot easier to be a affiliate of the Marlins. And then when they dropped us down at the 2021 season, the AA, and moved us to the Twins, we're like, seriously, of all teams you're going to do, because Wichita is 3 hours south of Kansas City, so you're going to do a division rival with the nearest MLB team. So we were not very happy. Obviously a lot of those MILB fans just go to watch the game. They don't care. But for, my brother and I, my boys that are big baseball fans in general, we didn't like that as much when they're like, oh yeah, let's be a Twins affiliate instead of where we were that's supposed to be the Marlins before we ever played our first season.
Yeah.
Well, that's like when the Bombers, and I think I've told this story before, when the Bombers left Columbia and went to Greenville. They switched from a Mets affiliate to a Red Sox affiliate. I was done with them. They were dead to me. I mean, I should have just continued to be a Greenville Drive fan because they were an extension of the Bombers, but because they became a Red Sox affiliate, I was like, nope, done with you. And I've never been to a Greenville Drive game.
Would you ever go to a Greenville game?
No, yeah, I will. I want to go to one. I'm over that because of all of what you're talking about in the last few years and meeting everybody and becoming just more open to all the affiliations and the minor league teams. I'm less concerned with that on the minor league level.
Donnie's a changed man.
Yeah,
I'm with him though. I'm with Donnie on this one.
Yeah, I mean, like 20 years ago, it's like, no, I'm not pulling for an affiliate of my rival team.
Taking over from Patrick. I guess they drove.
But yeah, there you go.
Twins too, since they took Cedar Rapids after the Angels, right? Again, right? I'm someone that's like, I think that once I really did start getting into minor league baseball and, started meeting all of you guys and the people I've met along the way, that my thought on all of this has changed a lot since then, right? Because I was one of those like, man, I hate the Yankees. There's nothing I want to see them lose every year. I don't really care. You know what I mean? I'm to the point where I want to see a good game.
Yeah.
I still want to see him lose. Plus, I did get to Yankee Stadium last year, Donnie. Just obviously getting to travel to see all the ballparks. So enjoyed getting to go to the ballpark, except the ending when they gave us food poisoning, and all four of us, my wife and I and two older boys, all got sick on the same day because of Yankee Stadium.
Oof.
So yeah, I'll never forgive the Yankees. But I still went to their stadium because it's baseball.
Hey, Zach wants to know if Capital City Stadium is still there.
It's still there. It's still standing. They have not demolished it yet. I'm hoping that they will not.
They'll
It's
bring
changed hands
something.
multiple times. Nobody's developed it. It sits in a floodplain, so everybody that's bought the properties had trouble being able to develop it. So
Because of that.
yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, we're at the top of the hour. My God, we talked all baseball all day, the whole time. Look at us.
Yep.
We're so proud of. I'm so proud of you guys. So proud.
maybe we can pass a collection plate and buy the stadium, and then I can turn it into a museum here.
Turn it into like what everybody's doing in apartment complexes.
Right.
The influencer keeps it real. All right, Johnny,
Right.
calm down,
That's
calm down. We'll talk about this question because I want to know eventually next year when football season starts, the NFL starts, has your mind been changed when it comes to rooting for other teams because of it?
No, can't stand the Cowboys and the Bears.
NFL is different.
Yeah, I will not root for the Cowboys ever.
Although I felt like, I didn't hate the Browns, and I didn't care one way or the other. I just didn't feel like they were going to beat the Texans, or I think I picked the Browns, but I figured it was going to be hard against the Texans just because of them playing on the turf. But Lynn.
And we were right, again. It's like I picked the Browns, but I'm like you said, it's like the last time they play in turf, they're so hot, and they didn't have CJ Stroud. But anyways, that's a different sport, and the NFL is done for the year. So although the UFL is going to start soon, so that should be interesting. Probably doesn't translate for college sports either. No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, can't stand Ohio State or USC.
Yeah. That's
that you can't, like, if you're an SEC team, you're not going to like the Big Ten. If you're a Big Ten, you're not going to like the SEC. If you're a Notre Dame fan, you hate everybody.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So that's just how that goes.
Yep.
It's not going to change. Now USC is coming to the Big Ten, Oregon coming to the Big Ten, Washington coming to the Big Ten. That's going to be interesting. But that's next year.
I could only see pulling for another college team if they're a different level, different division, or something like that, possibly.
Mm-hmm. The lower levels is what
lower levels,
yeah, Division II and all that. So
yep.
All right, guys. Again, like I said, we're at the top of the hour here. Eric, what you got going on this week, my friend, with the Earned Fun Average?
So the Earned Fun Average, we are celebrating episode 101. And so when you were in school, you went and had like English 101 and went basically with the basics. And so that's what we're doing tomorrow. We have the episode, The Fun Wives of Baseball. We have both of our wives on, and we're letting them discuss the game of baseball in their eyes. So it's Baseball 101 from The Fun Wives of Baseball. So yeah, my wife and Johnny's wife on tomorrow. Earned Fun Average. Check it out.
I like it. I'm very interested in this. I like it a lot, man. Fun Wives. There you go. Share it right there with the Fun Wives. Donnie, what you got going on, my friend?
Just trying to get through this flu this week. Headed back to Ohio on Saturday and be up there till Thursday next week. Trying to get some more work done there, and that's about it.
OH, baby. And as for the Dad Hat Chronicles, this week on Monday released Flobo Boys. My boy Flobo, man, that was a good episode. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, bring him on.
Huh?
Bring him on here.
Oh, I told him. He's like, I'm in, let's go. So I might set him up for next week so he can come on to next week, and we'll have a big episode together. That's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, I was cleaning up the kitchen yesterday, and I was like, wow, this episode's already over. It went by quick. I really enjoyed it, so glad it's a two-parter.
Yeah, he's the whole Spotify thing, and he's the one with the commercial, right, with the MLB bets and all that. I'm like, what? Wait, what? And we talked about that, so yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I just released the video version of that on my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to take a look at that as well. And then we, the Dad Hat Chronicle Sports Show, we will be back next week. Okay, so no show on Thursday. We're gonna start this one Tuesday. We'll be back, same time, same bet channel, same all of that fun stuff. These three knuckleheads, and maybe Patrick will be here. I don't know. We'll see. So anything else, guys? Anything else before I hit the awesome little at the end of the show? No, nothing.
Who is that?
No, I have no idea. You guys are popular with two watchers. Hey,
You got to play
with,
to who you play to.
We're popular with more than two, just so you know. But it's cool though. Thank you for watching, because you're number 3 now. So haters are always going to be fans as well, guys. Just always think about that. So
they must think we're only on YouTube. They're not seeing that we're on all the other platforms too.
No, exactly. So there's that. All right, guys, have a wonderful night. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.